Thanks to the support as a channel member, Kevin Thomason. No, I agree. It's been a very, very disappointing season, Mrs Wearmouth. I think this is going to be the first time in the history of the club we're going to finish bottom half. I'm looking through the club vision stuff that we discussed at the start of the season. It's not pretty, is it? So going through this, you're disappointed that I'm not playing attacking or direct football or doing well at set pieces or counter-attacking. But you do think we're being entertaining, which is nice. You're devastated that we're not signing players to sell for a profit. And we also failed in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And you want me to finish top half next season. I think we're going to have to sell Alex Williams then. I think it's the only way we hit all those goals. I know. I don't know what we'll do to replace him either. Hello and welcome to part 74 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final two games of the league season. We're away against Forest and Derby, and it is going to be the end of what has been a miserable season. You can see that the run-in that we've just had just was horrific. We lost almost every game as part of the run-in. We've abandoned the 4-2-3-1. We've played with it for almost all of the season, and I think it's pretty clear it just hasn't worked. We started with the 4-2. Can we add formation to this? I think we can, can't we? Customize current view. I'm sure you can add formation. Let's add our formation to this. Move it up next to result icon and just have a little look through. Just let's auto size all columns and just get a real idea of what's been working and what hasn't. So we started with this 4-2-3-1. It didn't work. We switched to the 4-2-4 quite early on, and that's when we had what was our best run of form of the season. We won 7 consecutive championship games playing a 4-2-4, but then without changing the formation, it just all collapsed again. The 4-2-4, we didn't win for a long time. We can see we tried the 4-2-3-1 again there. We tried the diamond for a game, and we went back to the 4-2-4. And then I think at this point was when we just started to have our strikers. It was clear the strikers were rubbish. We couldn't play with two. So we went back to the 4-2-3-1 and kind of committed to the 4-2-3-1 from there. It had the odd moment where it looked okay, and we picked up a few wins here and there, but we persisted with it for a long time with a lot of different combinations of players. And in the end, we've gone back to the diamond, which is how we're going to finish the season. We're actually 2 games unbeaten with the diamond. We'll probably lose both of the matches today. But it is just, it's pretty clear this squad isn't good enough to get out of the championship, at least in the direction we want to get out of the championship. We're now £2.5 million in debt. We've got a few big saleable assets. Alex Williams and Renan are the two we've talked about for a long time, but they're not currently wanted by anyone, which is interesting. I mean, they might have sort of gone over the other side. We might have lost our opportunity to get 15, 20 million pounds for Williams. I think that's probably unlikely. I think we'll probably get big offers in for him again in the summer, but whether or not they'll be as big as some of the offers we've had previously, we'll have to wait and see. He's only got 3 years left on his contract, so we might have a bit of a problem there. Nathan Curry is one bit of good news. He's signed a 3-year contract extension at Brentford, so we were never going to be able to sign him permanently, but at least we should be able to get him in on loan again. We've applied to bring him back in on loan again for next season, so having him here next year will be a big plus for us if we can pull that off. We've already secured Kieran Hodgkinson, but we've got a number of youngsters coming through. The most recent one is Adam Blamplate, who's an 18-year-old attacking midfielder, can also play central midfield or up front. He's played the last couple of games as part of this diamond. He's another one who's got the potential to be a Premier League player in future, and we have got a lot of high potential young players. If we have a look, everyone from Euron Hughes upwards has theoretically got 5-star potential, and the age group that we've got there's only really Hodgkinson who's moved beyond his teenage years in any significant way. The talent in the squad is all very, very young, and you can see that amongst the older players, this is where it might be time to pull the plug on a few of them, even if they've been good servants for a long time. We're doing a season review before the season has ended because it feels like a post-mortem going on. But I'm looking at Micah Hamilton as an example of someone who has been a very, very important player for us, but he's 25 now. If we could get somewhere between £3 and £5 million for him as a player who's just had the worst season of his career, I think we take that. Shay Charles, 25 years old now. Again, if we can get £500,000 to £1 million for him, for a player who's had the worst season of his career for us, I think the positive we've got is we're an established championship club now, so player values are actually going up. Eli Campbell, who's not been a regular starter for us for 2 years, but has a baseline value now of 450,000, we could potentially get £500,000 to £1 million for him. And I think we need to really trim off some of these fringe players and maybe take the plunge on a massive rebuild. And if we get a £10 million plus offer for anybody, I don't think we turn it down, whoever it is. Maybe the one I'd turn it down for is Alec Lay, but I don't think we're getting a £10 million offer for Alec Lay. His value hasn't jumped up yet. But Renan, his value's now gone up to 2.4 million, but he's another one who's just had his worst ever season for us. Only 5 goals. I know we've messed him around a little bit with the positions we're playing him in. He's had a bit of an injury-ravaged season compared to normal, but for him to only have 5 goals for us this year, it's not been a good season for him, and we're going to have to see how things pan out. But if we can get, I think if we could have our time again, and we got that, I think it was an £18 million offer we turned down for Alex Williams, I think I take it and use that money to rebuild, even if we have to spend 3 or 4 million of it on a goalkeeper to replace Williams as a young replacement goalkeeper. It would have then given us another 5, 6, 7, 8 million to go and bring in the players that we clearly need in certain positions. This is the team that we're going to be playing today against Forest. And the fact we're having to play Renan and Connor Roberts up front screams that we need a striker. The fact that we're still relying on loan players in midfield screams that we need a midfielder. Blamplate's making his 3rd start for us, and we're playing Joe Barr as a defensive midfielder. We're still playing centre-backs at wing-back on both sides. There are big gaps in this squad that we need to fill, and I think this summer we need to go big on trying to fill those big gaps and also start having a look at some of the players who we've been talking about as having potential for a few years now. Mackenzie Fulton's had 13 opportunities to show me he's any good this year and hasn't. He is still only 19. I'm not writing him off yet. He's another one who's supposedly a future Premier League player, but he hasn't shown it, and it's a worry. So this is the team for Forest. Anyway, hopefully the match itself will be a little bit more positive. We're going with Alex Williams in goal, a back four of Hall, Davies, Lay and Brewerton. Barr at the base of the midfield, Curry and Hodgkinson ahead of him, and then Blamplate supporting Roberts and Renan up front. I think I'm going to make Hodgkinson an attacking Mazzala and just get him properly up there supporting the front three. Blamplate has looked like a little bit of a high point of what's been going on recently, and I mean, I already do the thanks for the support thing at the start. I may as well just tie myself into Wrestle Talk even more. If you don't watch the Wrestle Talk YouTube channel, you won't get the gag that it's not my gag, it's their gag. But one of you lot has signed up as a channel member using their gag name and has then turned out to have picked a really good player. And there's nothing I can do about it. They're the rules. But it looks like he's going to be a key part of the side going forward. But whether or not it's going to be as part of this diamond, I'm not sure. I don't think we win promotion to the Premier League playing a diamond. I think we do need to look long-term at a 4-4-2 variant like the 4-2-3-1, the 4-2-4, even maybe a 4-3-3. We've got a couple of good defensive midfielders coming through, although we're playing Barr today, really as an excuse to get Harrison Davies back in the side for his leadership. He's not there as the best defensive midfielder we've got. We've got Stone. We've got, who else have we got who can play in there? Stone is the one I immediately think of. I'm looking down at the bench, trying to remember others. Stone is the one who sat there to say, well, we've got Chris Stone, who's a really good defensive midfielder. I know there are a couple of others on the way through as well. So maybe a 4-3-3. Maybe. I mean, I guess the one positive we've got today is we've kept Forest quiet. There's not been a highlight yet. Kieran Hodgkinson is tiring, though, doing all that running, playing as the attacking Mazzala. I don't really want to bring Chris Stone on to replace him in that role, because I think what we're going to do is bring on Mackenzie Fulton and give him another opportunity. Put Connor Roberts back into midfield. Fulton can then go as the advance forward. Renan can play as a deep lying forward. I don't know why I've left that just the one substitution. You know I like to do two. Who else have we got on the bench? Tommy Jessup could come on. I might actually bring on Chris Stone for Joe Barr and give him a little bit of game time at the base of the midfield. And we'll just see if this is a front two might be something that makes a little bit of a difference. I would think Renan as a striker is surely something that's got to work, but he's been there for the last few games, and I think his confidence is just shot. Everyone's had such a rotten season. We have got a lot of rebuilding work to do this summer, not just to the squad, but to the psychology of the players who are here now and will still be there next year. We've never really been a bad side before, and this year we're definitely a bad side. Like I say, it's our first ever finish below mid-table, and if it hadn't have been for that run of 7 consecutive wins that we had at the start of the year when we were just in incredible form, if it hadn't been for that, we'd have been in a relegation battle for most of the season. We were very lucky that we got some points on the board early on, even if we could never figure out a way to recapture that form afterwards. Davies has played it into Mackenzie Fulton. Fulton, I mean, there's his opportunity to show me. That's where I need him to just grab the opportunity and say, yeah, give me a go. I'm going to be your man for a little while. And he just didn't look like he was that bothered. It's troublesome. I'm going to take off Renan, bring on Tommy Jessup. Jessup's going to have the last few minutes. Fulton, I think, can be a pressing forward alongside Jessup. And we'll see if Jessup can find the breakthrough. I think it's probably unlikely. But 0-0 away against Forest. I mean, it's not a disastrous result. To be fair, Forest are in the relegation zone, so it's not a good result either. At least it's 3 games without a defeat. And we're just a very poor side. Ugh. Well, it's been the theme of the season, or one of the themes of the season, just people constantly getting injured. And it's happened again, joining Micah Hamilton, Eli Campbell, to an extent, Jonathan Akani, although he comes back into the side today. But joining all of this lot on the injury list, Chris Stone has now picked up an injury, so no chance of bringing him in today. And Adam Blamplate's picked up an injury as well. So after singing his praises, he has to drop out of the side. It does kind of force my hand into playing the front 2 that people have been telling me to play for about 4 seasons, though. So we're going with Hodgkinson and Renan up front. Hodgkinson moving forward from midfield to allow Akani back into the side, and Roberts dropping back from centre forward to attacking midfielder. So, I mean, we might have accidentally stumbled across the front 3 that works. Who knows? I have no idea at this point. It's effectively random. Around about now, I've just lost it with this group of players. We all knew we were going to get to a frustrating point at this save, and my word, are we at a frustrating point with this save now? 3 seasons trapped in the Championship, and we just don't look like we're going to be getting out of it next year either. Oh, what a goal from Nathan Curry. What a man to cheer me up. He's cheered me up twice in the last 5 minutes, because 5 minutes ago, he agreed to come back on loan for another season next year. So Nathan Curry is going to be here for at least 1 more year, along with Kieran Hodgkinson. And he celebrates with only his 3rd goal of the season. But how many times in the past have we seen him hit a free kick just like that one? Maybe this is the turning point. Maybe it all changes here against Derby. We have a good summer. Alex Williams has just come to me asking for a new contract, so he's provisionally agreed terms on a 5-year contract. Renan's just scored a goal as a centre forward. It's all coming together, finally. We're getting a little bit of hope to take us into the summer and to take us into the new season. We're still going to have to sell somebody, but maybe it won't be Renan. Maybe he is a striker. He's still only 20 years old. That's the thing we've got to remember about Renan. He's been here forever. He's homegrown at club now. He's been with us, I think, 4.5 years since we signed him. It feels like he's been here a long time, when in actual fact, he's only 20 years old, and he still might be 2 years away from having his breakout season where he starts to look like a world beater. But maybe that little finish there was the start of that, and that would be beautiful. And as things stand, with Sunderland losing at home to Brentford, this does put us back into the top half of the table for the first time in ages. And what a backdoor Kev that would be if we managed to get ourselves into the top half of the table after all. It's a very proud record we've got with this football club, that we've never finished in the bottom half of the league table. And maybe, just maybe, we might be able to claw our way back into doing it all over again. Our goal difference is considerably better than Sunderland's. I'm recording this just before my side, Posh, in real life face Sunderland in a very important League One game. So I've kind of got it in for Sunderland today. By the time you're watching this, you'll know how that went. I think I'd probably trade, and it's not often I put real football ahead of Football Manager, but I think in these circumstances, Universe, if you're listening, I will offer you a trade. Sunderland can finish in the top half of this league table now. As long as Posh can beat them this afternoon, or yesterday for you in the football, because I'd quite like to see Posh back in the Championship. That would be very snazzy. Right, 2-0 at half-time. That has been the best half of football we've played in a very long time. Maybe we have stumbled across the system. Maybe it's the diamond. Maybe it's Hodgkinson and Renan up front after all. I've spent all season saying we've not got a striker. You lot have spent 3 seasons saying Hodgkinson and Renan are your strikers, Kev. And I just ignore you. But with good reason, because we never had anyone better in central midfield or out wide in the positions they were playing. But now, if we've got Curry coming back, Akani is getting better all the time. We've got 3 or 4 other young central midfielders coming through. Maybe the time of Hodgkinson having to play in central midfield is coming to an end and we can give him a season as a striker. And if we're playing with a diamond, the only place Renan can fit in is as a striker. So maybe this is what we're going to do. I don't even know that I'm going to commit to this being the system we use next year. You saw that chart of different formations we've tried this year and how nothing's really worked for any extended period of time. But at the moment, this is the system we're using and this is the system that's working. The one man who really misses out development-wise is Zebi, because he can only play out wide. Even someone like Micah Hamilton, when we're coming to the end of the road with him, but he can play centrally, either in midfield or attacking midfield. Euron Hughes can play right back. He might be the long-term answer to the problem there, having a proper attacking right back in the shape of Euron Hughes. So it's only really Zebi who would have to retrain either as a striker or as an attacking midfielder to fit into this system. And considering he's not a regular nailed-on starter anyway, I don't think he's necessarily a reason to not try this for a little while. We've got a lot of young attacking midfielders coming through. It's one of the reasons why we switched to the 4-2-3-1 in the first place, because we've got so many good young attacking midfielders. Yerebek's an example of another one. So maybe this is our thing for a while. You know what? Let's try Euron Hughes at right back. Start as we mean to go on. Zebi, what can you do? Nothing really. You're not very good. You're a makeshift central midfielder. I think he's probably just going to miss out. I don't know. Maybe we force him into being a left back. We'll leave him off for now. He doesn't need to come on straight away. Don't hiccup on camera, Kev, for goodness sake. Certainly not in the middle of a sentence. You unprofessional buffoon. Still 2-0 to us. Sunderland still losing in their game at home against Brentford. Let's make our final change. I'm almost tempted to take off Alex Williams to give him a standing ovation and make the world think he's leaving, even though he's about to sign a new contract. But it feels a little bit too trolly. We are going to bring Zebi on. I don't know who for. Should we try him up front? See what he looks like as a striker for 10 minutes. He's very quick, so maybe we need to do a Thierry Henry with Zebi and get him up there playing as a striker. And you never know, maybe it'll be the making of him. But we've not. Oh, I was going to say we didn't see a highlight of him playing there, but here is that highlight. Nathan Curry clears that, I think, with his testicles. He's falling over backward and kind of just nuts it away. And it worked. We kept a clean sheet. Wow, do you remember that? Do you know, I can't think of the last time we kept a clean sheet. We're 4 games unbeaten to end the season, boys and girls. We've finished in the top half of the table. We're a wonderful football side. Everything's positive. Re-record the previous 20 minutes. It was all too negative for no reason. We need a big summer. Oh no, we finished 13th after all. Oh, well, balls to everything. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.